Greetings, salutations. Welcome to this midday power surge, special edition of Prophetic Insights, where we analyze current events as they are fulfilling Bible prophecies. Safe to Serve International, first-time viewers, welcome one, welcome all to this Prophetic Insights, Thursday, November 11th, 2021. Are you familiar with the statement in Testimonies for the Church, Volume 9 and page 41 regarding what the highest missionary work really is? We're told, my friends, that preaching will not do the work that needs to be done. God's angels will attend us to the homes of those we visit. Money lent or given will not accomplish it. This work cannot be done by proxy. Sermons will not do it. By paying the people a visit, by talking, praying, sympathizing with them, you will win hearts. This is the highest missionary work that we can do. That's house-to-house labor. Many times we use house-to-house labor as a means of connecting people with our digital platform, and even vice versa. We may use social media for aggressive, effective evangelism to reach people not in our immediate circles. Then we can go house to house. Brothers and sisters, social media presence will fail one day, I'm telling you. But house to house labor will continue much longer. But don't you mistake this point, because very, very soon the doors of opportunity going house to house will also close. Why do I say that? I'll tell you. Many of the people behind these doors, their minds are going to be poisoned against present truth as they serve social media sites. Brothers and sisters, let's get right into this. Are you familiar with Facebook's new name for its umbrella company? It's called Meta, M-E-T-A. Are you familiar with what that word means in a normal sense? I'm going to challenge all of you. Look up that word meta in the dictionary and give me a succinct, clear definition for that word and post that in the comment section below. From my research, the word meta has a plethora of meanings. It is just as mysterious, just as confusing as the name Babylon means confusion. Well, friends, Facebook, Meta, has just launched a policy publicly to ban content on its platform that has been sponsored. Take a look at this, my friends. It says, watch carefully, headline, Meta will no longer allow ads targeting politics, religion, sexual orientation on Facebook as well as on Instagram. I'll come back to the bottom paragraph. Notice what it goes on to say. Headline, Facebook plans to remove thousands of sensitive ad targeting options. And friends, what's the purpose of this? Normally, when someone has a page on Facebook, Instagram, they have followers. They have so-called subscribers. They have their own circle, people that they can influence. All right, notice now. Now we're told that if you want to reach beyond your circles and you want to purchase advertisement, that reach is going to be limited. The content is going to be banned. Take a look right now at the textbook definition of advertisement. Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. Advertising has three primary objectives: to inform, to persuade, as well as to remind. Now, of course, I want to be objective here. Here is Meta's reason for this new policy move. In other words, they're telling us that people are manipulating, abusing the targeting options. Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. Critics have been calling on Meta to do more to address ways that advertisers use micro-targeting to either manipulate, don't forget that word, or neglect. It goes on. This is Meta's VP, Graham Mudd, he writes, the changes are being made to address Facebook, to address feedback from civil rights experts, policymakers, and other stakeholders. I wonder who would entail the other stakeholders on the importance of preventing advertisers from abusing the targeting options we make available. Friends, in short, Meta's new policy will hinder content providers from reaching people not in their groups. Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. Between the lines, VP Graham Mudd notes that the topics Meta is banning are specifically catered to the types of things people engage with on its platform. He said the company is committed to helping these three groups reach their target audiences using tools like geographic targeting and look-alike audiences, or audience segments that can be targeted to people that are likely to have the same types of interests as the banned targeting parameter. My friends, that's clear. That's clear. Normally on Facebook, you have a certain amount of followers. If you want to now reach beyond that group, many people sponsor their content. Well, now this policy says, if your content goes against what other groups stand for, your content will not reach the targeted group. Your content will be banned. For example, my friends, think about this. If there is a Bible-believing group on social media, on Facebook, that believe in the biblical marriage, one man with one woman, and they are trying to evangelize people who believe in same-sex union, man with man, woman with woman, that content will not reach those groups. In other words, no evangelism. Number two, what if there is a group on Facebook that believes in the Protestant Reformation, true Protestantism, true Sabbath keeping? We must protest against Babylon, the papacy, and you want to get your content beyond your circle? That content is going to be restricted, is going to be banned. No evangelism. I'm wondering, will these new policies from Meta, from Facebook, I'll come to YouTube afterwards and Google, will these policies also negatively impact the papacy? Or are these policies only for a particular group? My friends, stay tuned for this revelation later on. Because what we are going to see, that there is a power, a system behind these policies according to Bible prophecies. Now, let's take a look at why these things matter. Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. It is one of the more dramatic moves that the social media company has taken to minimize manipulation on its platform by advertisers. Don't you forget the term manipulation. Then it goes on to say, any topic or term related to political organizations and figures will also be banned. I'll come back to that. The company will also prohibit ads targeted around certain health causes. My friends, that's clear. So number one, it's telling us that if your content goes against political figures, your content will be banned. Want to ask you a question? Is Pope a political figure? The Vatican, the Holy See. You cannot preach against Babylon. It goes on to say that also if your content goes against other groups on Facebook, social media, that believe contrary to what you believe in the area of health, your content will be banned. For example, if there is a group on Facebook that believes in Bible health, and you want to evangelize people beyond your circle, and they may believe in Babylon's elixir, Babylon's panacea, Babylon's health protocol, Babylon's perverted diet, your content will not reach those targeted groups. No evangelism. And what is the right arm of the everlasting gospel? It is medical missionary evangelism. No evangelism. It goes on to state that Facebook has previously publicly stated that they have been shadow banning content for several years. In other words, all of us who have a page on Facebook, on social media, on YouTube, etc., you have a particular number of followers and even subscribers. When you post a content, it goes to your subscribers. Is that so? Well, what is shadow banning? Your content does not go to your followers and or subscribers. That's number one. Number two, this new policy bans your content from going beyond your group. Does it make sense? Take a look at this, my friends. There it is on the screen. Facebook's Transparency Center publicly admitted to its shadow banning habits. All right. And the NRB reports that Facebook's shadow banning policy directly affects biblical messages on the platform. The true extent of Facebook's content distribution policies remain cloaked in secrecy. My friends, that statement is very, very clear. Now notice, this censorship, this banning from Meta, Facebook, is a two-way street. Number one, the content producers, their content is now censored and banned. And now the people, the recipients, they also now have new controls, new authority to restrict what ads come to them. It's a two-way censorship. Take a look at this, my friends. It says, watch carefully. This is from Graham Mudd from Meta for Business. November 9th, skip on down, blue words. Even after, he said, we update our targeting options, people may still see ad content they aren't interested in. Which is why we are also working to expand the control that allows people to choose to see fewer ads about certain types of content. Now, let's focus on what they are calling sensitive content, sensitive issues. As a result, there is the need for this new policy. They're saying you cannot post content against LGBT, against religion, against various cultures and practices, against Jewish practices, against Catholic practices, the Catholic Church. Why did they put in print the Catholic Church? Is that the power, the entity behind these draconian, diabolical policies? Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. Graham Mudd, the VP, states, starting January 19, 2022, we will remove detailed targeting options that relate to topics people may perceive as sensitive, such as references towards organizations, public figures, health, race or ethnicity, public and political affiliation, religion, or sexual orientation. Let's close off. Mudd also included examples of these sensitive issues. For sexual orientation, you cannot sponsor content that preach against same-sex marriage, the LGBT culture. You cannot sponsor your content that goes against and preaches against the practices of the Catholic Church and the Jewish religion. You can't. My friends, there's several Catholic practices that Bible-believing Christians protest against. Christmas, Easter, you name it, my friends. Sunday worship, well, your content will be banned. It will be restricted, censored. It will not go beyond your circles into other circles of Roman Catholics. Yet, I say, can the papal content come into other groups? They are men pleasers. This is discrimination. You watch. And we can say more about Roman Catholic teachings. Leave the Jews alone for now. I'll come back to them. But the Catholic teachings, Roman Catholicism, the beast of prophecy. My friends, can anyone preach the everlasting gospel and not identify Babylon the beast, its image, its mark, Sunday worship by law? No, friends. Why? Because they all entail and comprise the everlasting gospel of Revelation chapter 14, verse 6 through verse number 12. No evangelism. That's what they're telling us. And notice what it goes on to say. This begins January 19th, 2022. It's November 2021. The crisis is on the horizon. And friends, remember, it was Pope Francis who said that social media giants need to ban false preachers on social media. Why? Because they are causing division. Look at what this says. There it is, my friends. Ban false preachers on social media. Ban false content producers on social media. Why? Red words underlined. Because they cause division in communities. That's it, brothers and sisters. And notice, with whom did the Pope meet? He met with the tech giants, social media giants, CEOs, founders, and leaders. Look at this, my friends. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, Apple's boss. There it is, my friends. Google's CEO, YouTube. There it is. Why is the Vatican at a tech conference? Why? Red words. The Pope wants to use social media, the digital press, to spread its influence. Do you see what I'm talking about, my friends? Discrimination, headline, red box. The Pope bashes tech giants for exploiting hate speech, grooming, and fake news. The blue word says they are manipulating the people. The very same words that Graham Mudd of Facebook Meta wrote. There it is, headline. Block fake news. The Pope says, begging social media firms in the so-called name of his God. There it is. You can spend time and read that from the Vatican's press. All right, friends, number 2, there it is. And Matthew 13, verse 24 through verse 28, an enemy has done this. Done what? An enemy is sowing seed. And friends, the papacy has sown her seeds. That's it, friends. It's now bearing fruit. What fruit? What fruit? My friends, a bitter harvest to silence the Protestant Reformation, to hinder the work of aggressive evangelism. Now think about this. Why would Facebook cut off a significant revenue stream? Remember, friends, normally speaking, we don't pay to open up a Facebook page, nor an Instagram page, nor a page on YouTube. It's free, in quotes, it's free. So how does Facebook YouTube receive their revenue. One primary stream of revenue is by content producers sponsoring their content, purchasing ads, monetizing their content, their video, their platforms. And now Facebook is cutting off this revenue stream. The great question is why? Based on prophecy, I'll answer. Because she is receiving funding from another source. And the one who funds you can dictate what you do. Remember, we are told, my friends, the one who controls the money is the one who writes the policies and controls the people. And Revelation chapter 18, verse 2 and verse 3, the Bible speaks about Babylon, the papacy in the primary sense, from chapter 17, verse 1 through verse 6. Chapter 18, verse 2 and verse 3, the Bible says, the merchants of the earth have been made rich because of Babylon, the Roman Catholic Church. Now you can see why Facebook, Meta, Google, YouTube are making these public stances and policies. The man behind the social media censorship, the power behind the social media censorship. Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. I want everyone to see this. There it is. Meta said it was difficult. It was a difficult decision because it believes the best advertising is personalized. Facebook's ad tools helped reap the company $86 billion. That's B. In revenue last year. That's it, brothers and sisters. Why would they cut off this revenue stream? And friends, remember, we're told in Revelation chapter 17, the harlot, the papacy, sits upon 7 mountains. There are several applications for the 7 mountains. One application is the 7 mountains of culture. And where the mother sits, her daughters also sit. And one of the 7 mountains of culture is media, i.e., social media. Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. The first is business. The second is government. The third is media. That's it. The fourth, arts and entertainment. The fifth, education. The sixth, family. And number 7, religion. The 7 mountains. Now, friends, I could stop right here and close off this soliloquy, but I need to add an addendum to this. Another crisis on social media. Do you recall October 10th, 2021, I presented from Midday Power Surge and Prophetic Insight that Google and YouTube would hinder content producers from monetizing videos, posts that ran contrary to the standard policy of climate change. Let me make it short. If your videos deny climate change, if your videos deny the policies to combat climate change, well, Google, YouTube just stated you cannot sponsor nor monetize that channel, that video, that content. Brothers and sisters, with whom did Babylon the Pope meet with? Does it make sense now? I'm going to post the link for that video October 10, 2021 in the interim. Take a look at this, my friends. There it is. I won't spend time on this headline. Google and YouTube will cut off ad money for climate change deniers. They can no longer monetize content that denies the existence of climate change. That's number 1. Number 2, you can read that. Number 3, you can also read that. Number 4, and what does Babylon the papacy say? Is the primary solution to combat climate change, Sunday worship by law. Oh, GC 590 also confirms. But remember, my friends, you cannot preach against the Catholic Church. That's what I want you to see. Now, come back here for a minute here, friends. In the world, this is going to be a juxtaposition just to show you the gravity of these diabolical, inimical policies to our liberty of conscience from Meta, Facebook, YouTube, and Google. In the world, you have gangsters in gangs, gangsters. If they plan to take out a particular target, many times they use what is called crowd confusion. And the gangsters would separate themselves in small little groups. Maybe one or two persons are the shooters, and they would move towards their target. But they have one problem. The target is in a crowd, but they come as close as possible to their target to destroy that target. But notice now, the other gang members, they now infiltrate the crowd and they create some crisis, some disorder. They might fire off a round from their gun. And the crowd now is in trepidation, great fear. They're running hither and thither, great chaos. And now the two shooters can now quickly terminate their human target. It's called crowd confusion, to destroy their particular target. In that scenario, every single person in that crowd, that marketplace, has been affected negatively. But the gangsters only want one person. That's the point, brothers and sisters. What is now the application? The policies of the papacy through the social media giants is now affecting everybody financially, negatively. But Satan, the papacy, and the allies only want to destroy one group: the faithful Bible-believing Christians, the faithful Protestant reformers, the faithful commandment-keeping people, the faithful Sabbath-keeping people. Look at this, my friends. There it is. We're told the papacy's mode of operation between 538 AD to 1798 was to shut down cities. Everybody would be negatively impacted. But the papacy simply wanted to destroy one single person, either John Wycliffe or John Huss. Look at that reference. Great controversy. Page 100, paragraph 3. GC, page 101, paragraph 1. Next quote, GC 101. And paragraph number 2. There it is, my friends. Maranatha, page 213. What are we told? Satan's plan, the papacy's plan, is to blot from the earth one specific group. That's it, brothers and sisters. And that's why today we're seeing, blue words underlined, the papacy, her allies, are putting forth almost superhuman efforts to shut away present truth from shining upon the people. That's it, brothers and sisters. That's it. Now understand, the faithful Protestants, like Martin Luther and the others, did they champion present truth in their time period? Yes. Do you recall several months ago I shared a pertinent article from The Economist with the headline, How Luther Went Viral? And what they were saying is Martin Luther used social media of that day to champion the Protestant Reformation's cause. My friends, here it is on the screen. How Luther went viral. And now they made the application to say what social media is today, Facebook. Luther had its counterpart in his time period. Now notice, my friends, and then we're told the papacy established the Jesuit order. For what purpose? To overthrow the Protestant Reformation. And what did the Protestants use? The publishing press. So what did the Jesuits do? They established the Inquisition Board. Red words underlined. To restrict, to ban all content that was contrary to papal doctrines and papal policies. And that board today is called the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. Henry Kissinger says, in order for the new world order to take complete effect on society, they have to get rid of Protestantism. That's it, my friends. Destroy access to the people. And we're told in Great Controversy, page 606, the sins of Babylon will be laid open. Will be laid open. So, my friends, what are we to do still as we go house to house, door to door? Well, we're told in Scripture, we must still publish present truth. And friends, we must use all the means available before every single door shuts. Many folks are going to say, well, since they're banning our content, you can't sponsor. You can't take out ads for evangelism purposes. Number two, they are shadow banning your content. Move over to other sites. My friends, every single site is going to be controlled shortly by the papal tentacles, the papal octopus. Don't forget that, my friends. But think for a minute, where do most people convene? They're on the social media giants platform. As a fisherman, where would you fish? By the way, fish for souls, where most people congregate, where most people gather. So my friends, let's do our best now before it is too late. Matthew 10, verse 23, if they persecute you in one city, flee to another. And Christ says, this is a sign. My second advent is near. Take a look at this, my friends. Psalm 68, verse 11. Isaiah 52 and verse 7. Mark chapter 13 and verse 10. We have to publish present truth still. Evangelism, page 130. We must secure the publishing presses, newspapers, and print present truth. We must. We're told more than 1,000 will soon be converted in one day, most of whom will trace their first convictions to what, friends? The reading of our publications. It's time. It's time. And we're told in GC, page 612, my friends, it's time to sow the seeds now. Because many will flee from Babylon when the latter rain falls in full measure. The loud cry is given. It's time to sow the seeds. And we're told in volume 5, page 463, the work which the church has failed to do in a time of peace and prosperity, she will have to do in a terrible crisis, on the most discouraging, forbidding circumstances. My friends, listen, the warnings that worldly conformity has silenced or withheld must be given under the fiercest opposition from the enemies of the faith. Brothers and sisters, what shall I more say? It's time to carry forward the work of aggressive, effective evangelism. It is now, brothers and sisters. The second coming of Christ is even at the doors. What are we waiting on? We are being troubled on every side. Let's use these means now before every door shuts. And then what will be left? Door to door. And those doors will also be closed to present truth and God's end time messengers. And then Christ will stand up and say, it is done. What shall I more say? Maranatha, Jesus is soon to come. And the protest continues.